So as I mentioned earlier, we are now going to hear from Mr. Utsav Shah, who is the business head of the APAC and EMEA region of ShAIp. ShAIp, of course, is our gold partner for the initiative. And Utsav is going to speak to us about the future of voice technology. What are the various challenges and opportunities that are ahead of us? And this is a keynote that is specific for the Middle East region, which is very relevant for all of our audience today. Just a quick word about Utsav before we hand the stage over. Utsav is a dynamic and highly accomplished strategic leader, and he is, of course, as I mentioned, the executive partner and business owner with a career track record in enabling various companies in different verticals to enhance their AI initiatives. Also, very interestingly, he is a member of the AI Standardization Committee at the Niti Aayog, and he has spoken at various forums and events all over the world, sharing his knowledge and experience about voice technology and AI. So, Utsav, the stage is all yours, and our audience is very eager to hear what is it that you'd have to say about the various challenges and opportunities that lie ahead of us with regards to voice technology. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let me know when you guys can see my screen. Yeah, can you see my screen? Hello. Hello.
Utsav, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, we can. Can you hear me?
Yes. I can hear you clearly. We can hear you without any problem.
Okay, perfect. And can you see my screen as well?
Yes, we are able to see. Yes, we are able to see the screen. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the next, very nice introduction. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Before beginning, I would like to thank the entire Voice Tech Summit team, for inviting me to share my thoughts on one of the most talked about topics today, which is voice. Before beginning, I would just like to share something about our company, which is ShAIp. At ShAIp, we are basically a data platform company serving customers across the globe, having presence in multiple geographies. We potentially act as a data partner in any company's journey. We enable an on-demand scaling of our platform, processes, and people for companies with the most demanding AI initiatives. We create, license, or transform your raw unstructured data into highly accurate and customized training data sets for ML models, which actually eliminates the curating and cleaning of the data by your team and allows them to focus on the most important thing, which is developing your computer's AI vision. We provide the entire bouquet of services, right from data licensing to data creation to transcription, annotation, as well as data de-identification. We address a lot of use cases involving the development of digital assistants, chatbots, voice bots, NLP, as well as computer vision. Moving on to the topic of the day, according to a research firm Ovum, by 2021, it's estimated that there will be more voice assistants on the planet than there are people, which will constitute a huge shift in the nature of our relationship with digital technology. So the question before us is, why did this shift happen? Voice is the oldest medium of communication, but why did it suddenly got very popular? How did we move so rapidly from changing our interaction from manual input commands to touch commands to now the voice commands? And here is my belief on that. Jeff Bezos very aptly put it that, let me give you the pain up front. It's your target for latency, which is 1 second. We as human beings just like to get response so fast. We love, hearing to our voices back. So I see there are 3 major factors which has contributed to voice being an enabler and which will continue to do so. The most important thing is comfort. The users can multitask and interact with devices on the go, which frees up their capacity to do something else simultaneously. The voice first approach is highly engaging as well as intuitive. Just to give you an example, my wife can order grocery while cooking. The second main point is convenience. When you interact with voice technologies, it's very user friendly, it's hassle free, and it's an effortless experience. Let me give you an example of my grandma, who finds Alexa very interesting because she does not have to input anything. Millions of visually impaired people, billions of people suffering disabilities will find voice very useful and exciting. There's a huge market waiting to be captured. Also, there's a third important point, which is the communication, or as I would put it, the contextual communication. The individuals who interact with voice technologies, the technologies have advanced so much that they know everything about the human being. They know the who, the where, and the how. And that's one of the reasons why they can produce a great level of personalization within those interactions. So when I ask my Alexa that what is my schedule today, it automatically understands I'm talking about my schedule for my office, which is my 10 to 6, and not my entire day. So is touch going away? In my opinion, and there's a lot of debate around it, but in my opinion, touch is not going away, but absolutely voice will take over, and voice and touch will coexist and provide even greater and better solutions in times to come. Let's look at the market potential here. Conversational AI is booming like no tomorrow. The market growth, there will be a rapid growth in coming years, as we have seen in the past years. So this is going to continue. Also, in emerging economies like Middle East and African market, voice technologies are taking a major role. With that, let's look at some of the very exciting marketing trends, that has appeared. The first and the foremost, and which is, I would put it at, the first factor of why there is so much sudden increase in the voice adoption is COVID-19. COVID-19, if you look at it, is just an inflection point for the gradual to sudden voice adoption. The shift has accelerated the adoption of voice, thanks to the continued interest in contactless interactions. The second important trend that we have seen is a lot of brands have started adopting voice technology, which will result into first mover advantage for them, because they are paying a lot of attention to devising their own voice strategies. Most of the companies now realize that it's an extremely important for their business. And the scope and the scale is going to be enormous as companies explore new ways of doing business and connecting with customers. The third most important trend, according to us, is voice, which means money now. So companies are ready to invest in voice technologies like no tomorrow. You'll see a lot of investment happening in these companies and in these technologies in coming years. Voice-based ad revenues continue to grow and trend. They are scheduled to reach now 19 billion by 2022. According to ComScore, 50% of all our search will be voice-based. And remember, this percentage was only 20 a couple of years back. So it has twofold increased in just a period of 2 years, which gives us the magnitude of how people are adopting to these technologies. Voice-based shopping is another elaborate experience that people are having in terms of personalization, and they are more and more opting to want for voice-based shopping. Let's look at some of the stats for adoption. How has voice tech been adopted by a lot of different geographies or demographics, industries, and use cases? So if we look at voice as a medium, according to Gartner, 2020 is the year where the zero-touch UIs will be available on 2 billion devices and Internet of Things endpoints, which means that now the smartphones, with the power of the smartphone and the internet, this is going to be a billion times more than what it is today. If you look at the user geographies, you see there's a lot of adoption within millennials as well as baby boomers. They like to be there, chat with the voice bots and the audio bots, which give them positive experience. They like buying products. They like to give them a preference over the devices, just because it gives them a sense of their a sense of more personal experience in terms of getting to them very early, understanding their problems, providing app solutions and things like that. In terms of geography, we see that a lot of nations are racing ahead to adopt these technologies. In terms of chatbot, we see US, Germany, UK, India, and Brazil who are doing very well. They are seriously investing a lot in voice-based technologies. For times to come, APAC seems to be one of the biggest geographies who is going to grow very rapidly in this area. US, because I think it started early, has today highest number of chatbots for 1,000 people. And of course, for Middle East, this market is going to reach a staggering 2.6 billion by 2024. Let's look at some of the top industries and which are the new emerging industries which are coming in. And here there are a few interesting stats that I wanted to share. Finance, travel, retail, manufacturing, insurance, e-commerce, these industries have been adopting voice now for long. But there are new emerging industries like the government sector, the education sector, the pharma sector, who have come ahead of time, and we see a lot of penetration in these areas. Let me give an example of education. With the help of NLP, the chatbots can now convert an entire lecture into a conversation, making it more engaging and appealing to students. The bots can now quiz the student on the subject matter, and these results can be presented to the teacher for the teacher to understand the progress of the students. Let's move to pharma. A digital voice assistant can improve the efficiency and productivity of laboratory work by eliminating the need to print protocols or SOPs on paper. Scientists now no longer have to carry the paper information to different workstations or takes their eye off on the current task to spend time looking through the printed pages. Voice assistants can also promptly, ask the scientists to follow safety precautions or sterilization procedures without interrupting their workflow. So these features are enabling a lot of upliftment within the R&D centers, especially in the pharma companies. Let's take an example of government. Strangely, governments are known to be technology averse, but I think a lot of modern governments are now adopting voice as a medium because they see that it is solving a lot of problems for them. Recently, the UK government used Alexa and Google Home, enabling citizens to access the government services. So people can now use the smart speakers to search for more than 12,000 pieces of government information and find out answers to questions like, what is the minimum wage rate? Or when is the next bank holiday? Let's go to some of the top conversational AI use cases. This is very common, so I'll not spend a lot of time on this, but they are ranging from office automation to sales and marketing in retail, healthcare, hospitality, customer support, all of that. Let me come to very, talked about subject, which is what are the opportunities which voice presents today? And I have listed down a few. Just to give you an example, it used to be a past phrase where, we used to say open CSAM, and that used to open the door to a cave full of treasure. Now, as voice interfaces are increasingly connecting customers with brands, the magic words are Alexa, Hey Google, and Hey Siri. Salesforce has brought voice to its CRM systems through Einstein, a voice assistant that enables employees to enter data, interpret voice memos, and even schedule calendar events among the other tasks via voice. Oracle has added voice assistants to its enterprise applications, They recently added multilingual natural language capabilities as well as customizable vocabulary capabilities to its assistants that can converse with users in their native language. We see a lot of questions, a lot of developments on COVID side where, there are healthcare, Microsoft Healthcare bot has emerged and has been operating at a staggering rate of 1 million COVID-19 questions per day. We see a lot of developments in terms of adding features and functionalities which can help people to help them in these trying times. So I think there's a lot of developments which has happened, which may not have happened if there was no COVID-19. So we see COVID-19 as a catalyst for voice adoption. The most important thing is superior customer experience. I think that's the biggest opportunity that one can think of. And I think that's also one of the reasons why companies are investing in chatbots and voice bots, especially to kind of take the customer experience to the next level in their marketing and sales teams. So let's take an example of Disney. Disney partnered with Google in 2018 for cross-channel video advertising strategy. Google will now going to support advertising for Disney across live streaming and direct-to-consumer content on the web, in mobile apps, on connected TVs, and for live events. Last year, they released Frozen 2, which supposedly was the biggest, highest grossing animated movie in the history. Using Google Nest, your child can listen to Disney Frozen Golden Books with sound effects and music. And this particular feature actually came at the top in one of the surveys which was done in Japan. The next big thing is the level and the magnitude of influence that these devices can have, or the voice-based technologies can have, on your decision making. When you are shopping with Alexa, as well when you are working on anything else, what we have seen is that it will normally direct you to Amazon Basics, which is again an Amazon product or a service. So these devices have a lot of influence on your decision making, and this in itself can help a lot of companies to enhance their reach and revenue. Voice, I think, as a medium is now ubiquitous, which means that it's actually available everywhere. One of the primary reasons here is advances in technology like NLP, NLU, speech recognition powered by deep learning and machine learning. And it has actually opened up endless possibilities. And those possibilities are now emerging very fast for the companies to adopt. By the end of 2020, according to a survey, 30% of websites will leverage voice search, meaning that the users will browse the websites and search the internet using the voice-first features. This calls for rethinking the existing web content and understanding how it differs from voice-driven content. There are so many such changes which the companies can do and join this race and come ahead. Let's look at some of the investment which has happened in the past years and which continue to happen in voice tech enabled companies. This investment is scheduled to triple in the coming years because voice economy is scheduled to become $1 trillion market by 2025. With that, let me also talk about a few challenges which has emerged in voice adoption. Data privacy and ethical issues are the top in the list. People are still hesitant to share information about their credit cards, their bank information. They don't know if someone is listening to them, recording, and they can use that information to do something which is not fair. Another challenge which is upcoming is the challenge in voice localization. According to a survey, there are some 7,000 languages and dialects across globe which are spoken. Humans normally like to speak in their own language and dialects. We as social animals like to interact and like to hear ourselves the way we are. And hence, dealing with challenges like different language, dialects, slangs, even the punctuations make it very difficult for the machine to learn as human. But I think the companies have gotten very far in terms of the reducing the word error rate. So now it's somewhere around hovering between 2 to 3%, which was like 7 to 8% a couple of years back, which is actually a good indication. The third is infrastructure and talent. To build these technologies, you need a lot of talent in house, which is rarely available. Also, you need the IT infrastructure. So infrastructure will be under a lot of pressure. They have to be agile, responsive, flexible, secure, as well as scalable. Because voice responses and engagement happen in real time, customers won't wait while your voice assistant seeks relevant information at the backend. Legal and compliance still needs to come at a pace where there are fair laws who govern the various aspects of voice adoption and voice-based technologies, because these are very different from our conventional technologies when the law actually came into being. The next is a clear voice strategy, and I think this will distinguish companies who are not so successful versus companies who are successful in times to come. Just like companies needed an internet strategy in the 19s, a search strategy in 2000, and a mobile strategy in 2010, they now need a voice strategy in 2020. Brands will need to select their voice strategies depending on their business objectives and specific use cases. Just to give you an example, the Australian grocer Woolworths surprises customers by sending free personal voice assistants along with their grocery deliveries so that they can add items to their shopping list via voice. Similar business models are also now being offered as SaaS, which means that you have your own voice-based subscription models. Example, automakers can consider partnering with gas stations and restaurants to promote them in voice search results. And the most important challenge is data. Your AI is only as good as your data. It's GIGO, which is garbage in, garbage out. And that's the reason why you need a lot of data which is relevant, which has the requisite diversity to train your engine. With that, I think I thank you all for a patient listening, and I hope you have a great day ahead. We have an elite list of speakers today who I believe will enlighten you on a lot of broader areas within voice. Please visit us at our booth as well to learn more about ShAIp. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Utsav. It was a great hearing you, and thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience with us. Of course, if any of our audience would like to interact with Utsav privately or after the session, he will be available in the networking areas and the reception. Is that right, Utsav? He will be available.
Absolutely.
Of course, ShAIp is our gold partner for the initiative, and we thank you immensely for partnering with us for this initiative and helping us put it together. We value your participation greatly, and we look forward to interacting with you, and the audience also can look forward to interacting with you over the course of the day. So thank you very much once again, Utsav.
Thank you. Yep.
So right, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to our next session. In fact, Utsav briefly mentioned about Alexa and those various apps. Our next session is going to highlight a new Android app called Rafiq, which is the new era of a virtual assistant. So we're going to find out what is Rafiq, how it's going to be integrated with the market, and what is the vision of Rafiq and how it's going to be of benefit to all of us in the near future. Our presenter is Basim Wahid, who is the CEO of Rafiq, an Arabic virtual assistant. Rafiq, of course, is also our gold partner for the initiative. Before I hand the stage over to Basim, I'd just like to quickly mention a few of the various accolades that Rafiq has won, starting with it was nominated for the Best Arabic Assistive Technology Award in 2018 in the Seed Stars. Rafiq won second place in the Unbound Bahrain Face-Off Pitch competition, also in 2018. And Rafiq, that's the app, won third place in the Falling Wells Lab in Egypt in 2017. And these are just a few. The list of accolades goes on. So there is something that is very interesting about this new app, Rafiq, and it's specifically catering to the Middle East market because it's in Arabic, and our audience is very eager to hear what this is all about. So Basim, without any further ado,